Welcome to episode 2 of the Team 7 podcast.
Yeah, we'd actually just spent the last hour chatting away. Our first thought was, oh God, why weren't we recording this? But a lot of personal stuff, probably too personal for the podcast.
I'd say, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, too much information. Great feedback, by the way. Were you happy with the feedback?
Editing the first episode, I couldn't wait to record the second episode. And then especially when we started getting the feedback from the first episode, I'm so happy to be back now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you can find legs to the business that excite you is good. Like starting a new business, I was actually, like even today, recording the podcast, I was excited. I was buzzing to get going and get recording. In today's episode, we are going to touch on what's happened in the last couple of weeks. Just keep you updated, keep our members and our listeners in the loop of what's happening with us, what's happening with Team 7 and so on. I think a good starting point is to congratulate a few of our members finished the Dublin Marathon, which is huge. I know we touched on it the last day that a couple of members were running it. I was super jealous with all of their times, how they done the day out. I went for pints with our coach Jer who done it, and just even seeing him limping around, I was jealous of the pain he was in, just because it looked like a great day out.
I remember on the day you were watching them live on the marathon app.
Yeah.
Just watching them.
Just tracking them all. And I texted them all the day before, and I probably shouldn't have because it puts people under a lot of pressure. But I texted them all the day before, like, what time are you going for? And it's easy as a viewer to be critical, watching them being like, they need to speed up, they need to slow down. And I was wrong about all of them, because all of them, whatever they done right. They were stuck on plan, and they absolutely smashed it as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Another massive thing is the app development. Rob's field, we're coming along nicely with the app and getting the app released very soon. So if you want to touch on that, Rob.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a lot of sleepless nights working endlessly on this, but the app is almost finished. We're looking at a release in November, which it is now, November, so this month.
Yeah, and I kind of not feel bad, but it's so out of my world that Rob's staying up all night and I'm texting him after my 9 hours sleep saying, hey, where are we at with the app? Is it nearly ready? Pushing it a lot, but it's going to be a game changer, isn't it?
We put a lot of effort into making the website team7.ie as user-friendly and as easy to navigate as possible. But with the app, you have in-app notifications, which is going to be a game changer for the community aspect.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's going to make it completely different and a lot better. I always say Team 7 can't get any better, but Rob actually showed me the app for the first time today. It's just so fast, so efficient. It's looking really well.
I mean, we could get really nerdy and stuff like that, and I'm sure some people are interested in how it's like the behind the scenes of app development and everything, but I'll just put it at, we upgraded our servers so it's way faster, way more efficient to log your training goals, contact your coach, and even connect with other people in the team section. So
I'm buzzing, and the feedback, personally, sorry to say this to you, Rob, if I was listening to a podcast that was all talking about techie nerdy stuff, I'd turn it off straight away. But our feedback we got was from 20% of our members or stuff said, when we went looking for feedback, said how intrigued they were with Rob's side of the business and the setup side and the tech side of things. So everyone's not like me out there.
We mentioned on the last podcast that when I run, I listen to really relaxing music to keep my heart rate down. And I was thinking, imagine someone like was listening to this podcast on a run, but then imagine they were listening to like computer talk on a run.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say there is stages of the podcast where someone's heart rate jumped straight back up. Like, I don't know if whoever's listening to this listened to the last podcast, but we spoke a lot about kissing dads on the lips, and so I'd say that would have raised a few heart rates if they were out running.
That's going to be a running theme in this podcast for some reason.
In fairness, so much went into the podcast, a lot of Rob's effort in editing and getting it produced, sound quality, all stuff like that. So you're waiting for the feedback and you're buzzing, and then 95% of the feedback was, oh my God, I can't believe about the unpopular opinions. It's so funny.
I recorded music for years and recorded songs, and the song is like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Our podcast, I think the full version was 50 minutes. We cut it down to 40, but like even editing it down took so long.
Yeah.
It's so different from a song.
Yeah. Well, a great thing about a soft launch, to be honest, I'm very impatient, and Rob kind of slows me down a bit because I just want to release everything that day and get it, like, just do it completely raw. But we sent the podcast to a couple of people, and I let a couple of family members and stuff listen to it, and there was a few words and stuff that we had to take out because I wouldn't have found them offensive, but apparently I need to I need to tone some of the language down a bit.
I think there was only one swear word in episode 1 after.
My mom actually rang me and said, I listened to your podcast, and she said it was great, so that was the positive, but she was like, I counted one swear word.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more in the unedited version, but I kind of filtered it down. I was like, that maybe just leave one F-bomb in it, it's fine.
From who though? All from me, was it?
It was from you, yeah.
Did you curse once?
I don't think so. And I listened to rap, like I used to.
I'm looking at all your Eminem stuff here on the wall. So.
My natural language would have a lot of swear words in it, but I don't on it.
Yeah, no. Fair. You can restrain yourself. I think it's when, like, the start of the lad. Already I feel a lot more comfortable today than the last day, getting used to being in the studio and talking to you and into the mic and stuff. But I think the curse words came when I leaned back in my chair, fluently went into the conversation and just started speaking as me. But I will continue to curse, and there will probably be a lot more work for Rob to do as he edits out my swear.
I might put beeps in instead, so people know exactly when it was.
They get a feel of who I am.
Yeah.
Another massive thing that happened with Team 7 within the community, she won't mind me saying this because I asked her previously, but one of our members, Michelle, hit the 32 kilo mark. She's lost 32 kilos, which is absolutely huge.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's massive. She's played the long game. I'm super proud just to see her lifestyle completely change. And when we weighed her the other day, I was absolutely mind blown. I said to her that I'd give her a shout out on the podcast because it's absolutely huge. But that falls into community as well, and the importance of community, because I started training her older brother, who I went to school with. She'd no interest in the gym, never even thought of going to the gym, but that kind of knock-on effect of building a community. Her older brother Glenn started with Team 7. He was 15 kilos down. He lost 15 kilos, which gave her the push to start, and she hasn't looked back, which is huge. So as I was touched on the last podcast, for anyone who didn't listen, the importance of community-based training and highlighting what other people are doing. Like, a lot of people in the fitness world keep to themselves and keep their results to themselves and keep their hardship and their challenges to themselves. But to be part of a community and push each other on, like Glenn pushed his sister on, their lives have changed essentially from it. So shout out to Michelle and Glenn. He's about absolutely smashing it.
Well done, guys. Yeah, amazing.
Anything else in the nerdy tech world that you want to touch on?
Well, if we keep our listeners awake.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of my clients, Jamie, texted and he found it all very interesting. But the two people I'd be closest to in the nerdy world are you and Jamie, so you will get on great. That's why he loved it.
So Jamie, this is how we're building Team 7.
This is for you, Jamie.
We definitely want to be, before the whole New Year's resolutions and everything, we want to have the app in people's pockets and in their hands before that. But we're also going to gamify Team 7. What gamification means is you earn points for logging a meal, you earn points for achieving a workout or connecting with teams. So that's something huge that we're building into the app. So that's going to be a game changer, I reckon. Yeah.
Well, the game, even for me, from if I was looking from a user point of view, gamification would be huge, just from that kind of competitive edge. And again, I keep touching on the community, but I think it's so important. If I'm looking at my friends and my peers on Team 7 and you see their XP points or their gamification.
Yeah, we don't know what to call it.
But that you see they're part of the 7 a.m. club because they logged the workout before 7 a.m. They've logged 5 workouts in a row. They've tracked their calories, whatever it is they've done, and they've gotten gamification points, whatever we call it, for that. That would definitely push me on to do it, which in terms will give you better results because you're training harder, you're doing more.
And yeah, we're working on different ideas for that as well. So if our listeners want to maybe recommend what we call the points, because we're looking at, XP, which is experience points, or just points. You said rewards. Maybe that, like, one of our listeners can actually have a better suggestion. Jamie, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, because everyone else has fast forwarded through this point when we're talking about the techie stuff. It's super exciting. There is loads to come, and especially once the app comes out, it's a game changer. And even from a business point of view, a lot of like businesses wouldn't talk about this, but it's January for all the new year, new me. I'm a firm believer of train year round, and you shouldn't slack off, but a lot of the general population take the foot off the gas, and from now really till the new year, our industry is sort of a gold mine in the new year. So to get the app out and ready to go by the new year, when everyone has this surge of motivation and this eagerness to train, will be absolutely huge for Team 7, the expansion of Team 7, and for all of our members.
I think so. And beyond a business point of view. So obviously New Year's, new resolutions, it's building new habits. And the point of Team 7 is you start your habit, but you maintain consistency and you maintain that habit. So even if you do join in January, we want you to keep going throughout the year.
We'd want you to join now, but if it takes till the new year for you to sign up, I can guarantee you November, December will never be then a slack month. It'll always be like just train year round.
We did a podcast before. Years ago.
Yeah.
And then we stopped and you were thinking, God, I'd love to do a podcast. And I bet every New Year's resolution you were like, this year I'm going to start my podcast. Like I know I was like, this year is going to be the YouTube channel this year. So it's now November and we've started the podcast.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to wait until December or January to do something. We just started when we felt like, okay, now is the time to start.
Exactly. And I think that's something we do need to preach, that what's that quote? One day or day one? Day one should be now. Do you know what I mean? If you're thinking about signing up or if you're thinking about starting a new business venture, a new fitness adventure, start the wheels turning now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Day one should be now rather than one day.
And done is better than perfect.
Exactly. As you said, like I've been speaking to you, obviously I've known you years and we recorded a podcast 7 years ago. It's been one day for 7 years and now it's day one, but imagine 6 years ago, day one was then. It'll be 6 years into this podcast.
For sure.
It could be flying by now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So today was obviously just to keep you guys in the loop with what's happening with us, what's happening with Team 7. I think each podcast will kind of give a shout out to a couple of members because there's so many members. I know I spoke about Michelle and Glenn smashing their goals, but that doesn't take away from the other 150 members smashing their goals. So every podcast we will highlight something spectacular one of our members are doing, and we will touch on Jamie's fitness, that he's a great member. He's not just a nerd that listens to our podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep using the loop as much as possible about everything that is happening with Team 7. And our most popular part of the last podcast was definitely our unpopular opinions. We are going to do a segment at the end of every podcast. I think for the next couple of podcast it's going to be unpopular opinions because we get great ones, we get funny ones, but we might change it in a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep things fresh.
Yeah.
But another good thing that's different to the last podcast is these are actually raw for Rob. I sent the other ones to Rob a few days early, but Rob's listening to these ones for the first time now.
So this is
This is going to be Rob's cold reaction to everything. So there might be a bit of editing if he's cursing and stuff now.
Yeah. What the
what the fuck? Oh, beep. Right, so number one, again, completely anonymous. We won't be naming anyone that said anything. So the first one is, people shouldn't record so much in the gyms. I don't want to be in the back of TikToks. Crying emoji.
I mean, you actually see videos of people posting the video of people asking them to not record them. It's kind of funny. Like it's like Inception now. It's a video of a video of a video.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Joe Swole?
No.
So he basically, his whole brand is around giving out to the people who are videoing, that the people who are videoing that are giving out about the people in the background of their videos, being like, you shouldn't have walked across the camera.
Sure.
But he's basically saying, no, it's a gym. They can walk across the camera if they want.
The same way that you can record. Like,
exactly.
It's a free game.
But is it? I don't know the laws around it. Can you, like in a commercial gym, can you set up your camera and record?
In a public space, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I believe so. In a public space. That's why you have CCTV. Like when you're walking by a shop, you don't go, oh, you didn't have permission to record me.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
it's the same.
Can't you only look back on CCTV if there's a security breach?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can have like a security guard sitting there live just watching, but I'm sure that'll happen. Scarface.
Yeah, fair. I personally, as a coach, I think I'd have a different opinion than the average gym goer, because especially in the online world of coaching, like I have a client who sends me videos of all of her exercises so I can see her form, critique her form, make sure everything's perfect. And I think that's huge. It's also done in a very respectful way. There's no one in the back. The phone's set up so you can only see her. So I think it depends on how, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's fine to record yourself working. You know, it is important to look back at your training and look back at your form. I know from boxing, shadow boxing is very important, but you can do that in front of a mirror. You don't necessarily have to have a camera to look back and go, oh, I should have kept my hands up there.
Yeah, of course.
But I think my issue would be So you're recording yourself and someone walks into your shot and then you start giving out to that person, oh, you just ruined my shot. It's not about your shot. It's about working out. So
yeah, exactly. And I think you sometimes you see a lot of people going over and saying, hey, sorry, I'm just recording my set, or you're in the background of this video, do you mind? So I think maybe recording your set and someone walking in the back isn't a big deal.
No.
But if you're going to post it on social media and there's someone in the background, let them know, look for their permission, or maybe record your next set when they're not in it.
Yeah, I think communication is key.
But as a coach, I appreciate when people record their sets and send it to me so they can get the most out of their movement. Just do it in a respectful way. Next one. The white monster is the worst one. This is a big L for me. I am hooked up to my veins. I would drink that white monster every minute of every day if I could. I don't, because I value not having the shakes and anxiety from that much caffeine. So I have 1 can a day, which probably isn't too good for my teeth, but I completely disagree. Rob's more of a coffee man though, aren't you?
Yeah, coffee, and I'd have a Red Bull sugar free, and that's as far as I really go.
Yeah. But there's not much to say about that apart from I completely disagree.
What does the white monster? What flavour is that?
People ask me this all the time because they see me drinking it, and I have absolutely no idea how to answer it. It's its own entity, if that makes sense.
Is it like fruity? Is it sweet?
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's really sweet. Sometimes, so my day starts a lot earlier than other people's. So I'm up, my alarm will go off, say 5:15. I'm in the gym working with people from 6. And all of a sudden it's 8:30, 9, and I'm having a can of Monster, but I've been up 4 hours, and my 9 o'clock clients coming in and they're like, you are a sick animal.
Yeah.
How are you drinking a sweet fizzy drink at 9? But my 9 is there 12 or 1.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I was going to ask what time would be your time to drink a Monster.
I know you suffer with this as well, or you used to, I don't know now. I had about 2 years where I suffered really badly with insomnia, where I was sleeping about 2 hours a night. I used to overthink. And I think being a business owner as well, running your own business, dealing with your own roster, dealing with loads of clients and stuff didn't help. But about 2 years ago, I stopped drinking caffeine after 1 p.m. If I drink a cup of tea in the evening, it's decaf. If I drink a Coke Zero at my dinner, it's caffeine-free Coke Zero. And I actually haven't looked back. I'm not recommending 1 p.m. is very early, but I just play it super safe because my work ethic, my quality of training, everything has gone up with how much hours I sleep, which is huge. So I don't drink caffeine past 1 p.m. So my can of Monster, I'd have a coffee first thing, can of Monster about 9 o'clock, and then another coffee at about midday.
And then you sleep okay now?
I sleep okay.
So that fixed that problem?
I sleep really well. I think it's because a lot of people, I'm guilty of this, cups of tea after your dinner. Tea has a lot of caffeine in it.
Sure.
A can of Pepsi Max with your dinner. Pepsi Max has a lot of caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Like stuff like, if I used to think energy drinks and coffee are the only things that keep you awake. But there's a lot of caffeine in a lot of fizzy drinks and cups of tea and stuff. But once I cut them out in the evenings, I sleep like a baby now.
That's good. When I was in my 20s, I used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola. Like, when I say a lot, a disgusting amount per day. Every day.
Why do you have nice teeth then?
As much as I was obsessed and obsessive about drinking Coca-Cola, I was obsessed with brushing my teeth.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but when I say, like, it used to be 18 cans a day.
Oh my God.
Crazy. But I have a tattoo on my arm that says sleepless.
I was gonna say that.
So I was defined by my insomnia. For years.
And the bar work as well.
Yeah, but this started before the bar work. The bar work just happened to be a lucrative way of exploiting my insomnia.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But now I've taken that insomnia and I'm building the app for Team 7. A lot of it is built at night, and
especially at the minute for your workload with getting the app out. I know sometimes I wake up in the morning and I go onto WhatsApp to text Rob about Team 7 or the business or whatever, and I get up at 5 o'clock and it's like last active an hour ago. I'm like, oh God.
And there's probably like 20 emails come in from like different tests and stuff like that.
So White Monster's lovely. Yeah, you smile there. Next one is a fitness one. I like when they are fitness based. Doesn't matter how much you work out if your diet isn't really good. I've been guilty of trying to out-train my diet in the past. What do you think, Rob?
I would say, yeah. Your diet is like 90% of it, right?
Do you think it's an unpopular opinion? I think with education now, I think with so many coaches posting like education bombs on social media and TikTok. I think the kind of you can't outtrain a bad diet is getting more universally recognized. What do you think?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, there's parts of your body that sugar and, you know, the unhealthy stuff just sits, and it's so hard to shift that you realize very quickly, damn, if I didn't eat or drink that large white mocha with cream on it, you know, from Starbucks.
Exactly. And it's, I think, a big indication of can't out-train a diet. Like, Rob, I've trained you. I've said that in the last podcast. When I put you on the assault bike and say hammer 30 calories and you feel dizzy, you feel sick, it was such a hard thing to do. And then I tell you, one bite of a banana is 30 calories. Like, how much effort exerted was to burn that bite of a banana, say.
That's crazy.
It's so much easier to consume calories than it is to burn calories. So if you have a bad diet, it is so hard to out-train that. For example, I went to Insomnia 2 weeks ago with my dad, and I got a hot chocolate. And I probably drank that hot chocolate in 6 or 7 minutes, I'd say. And I was leaning back on the chair, enjoyed my hot chocolate. I was completely satisfied. And I looked up at the board and I had the calories on the large hot chocolate, and it was 500 calories. Then I trained with my client Colleen. Me and Colleen would do 2 or 3 big conditioning sessions a week together. And I had my fitness watch on, and I absolutely butchered myself for 40 minutes. Heart rate in the red nearly the whole time, 180, one of the hardest sessions I've ever done. I killed myself. And I look, and it was the same amount of calories as the 6 minute hot chocolate. The 6 minute hot chocolate. Yeah, exactly. So you can't really out-train a bad diet. That being said, I think people think a bad diet is a high calorie diet, which is, it's not the case. It depends on your goals. Can't out-train a bad diet. If your goal is to lose weight and you're not tracking your calories and you're eating whatever you want, you just will not hit that goal.
Here's a question for you. What did you think, or I'm not sure if this is even a thing anymore, but do you remember calories or something was measured as sins on one of those fad kind of weight loss plans?
Yeah, Weight Watchers. I apologise for anyone that does Weight Watchers or any of these gimmicks. I absolutely hate them. When I was in, Rob's nodding his head like we probably shouldn't have said that. Even when I was in college, I won't name the course I was doing because I don't know. I just won't. It's probably handier. But one of the questions on our final exam was name 5 negative impacts Weight Watchers has on the fitness industry. So as a foodie, I love food. I love eating out. I get excited about food. And I love chocolate. To call a Freddo bar with your cup of tea in the evening a sin is absolutely outrageous. If you do 10 to 15,000 steps a day, you drink plenty of water, you do a really good resistance training session, you look after your diet, but then you have a Kit Kat in the evening with a cup of tea and you have to call that a sin after the day you've had. I just think it's really negative to a mindset, and it creates these negative mindsets towards food. And I have a lot of older clients who would have spent their 20s and 30s doing these fad diets, and they have such a negative impact on food. They don't understand how calories work. They don't understand calorie deficits. They don't understand that you can still eat the foods you enjoy and still lose weight if you're clever with your tracking and you do things properly. It's just, if they have butter on their bread, they've failed that day, even though they could be in a calorie deficit and still hitting their goals.
It's the negative connotation of it. Sin is such a,
food is beautiful. Food is life. I love food. And to call any food a sin, you just don't make a pig of yourself. Don't overindulge. Be aware of what you're eating. Reward yourself after a good week with a pizza, chocolate, and
a white monster.
Yeah, call it a blessing, not a sin, because food is a blessing. People spend too much time faffing on their phones at the gym, only end up working out for less than half of the time they are actually there.
Are they on Team 7 or are they not on Team 7?
Yeah, that's true. Are they looking at their program?
Yeah, so, sometimes you do see people sat on the edge of the bench and they're just on their phone, but they're sat there for maybe 5 minutes and like, oh, you've definitely, you've completely cooled down now. You're not warm anymore.
Yeah.
But then you do a set, you look down at your phone, maybe 30 seconds later you're into your next set, not a problem.
Yeah, I think he's talking about more so the people who spend 5 to 10 minutes scrolling or swiping through Tinder or fucking whatever it is.
Yeah, it's funny because you're looking for a dopamine fix. Like, that's what you're looking for. You're on social media, you're scrolling, you're getting dopamine fix. Should you not be getting that from lifting the weight or from running on the treadmill or from doing what you went to the gym to do?
Yeah, exactly. I think what some people don't realise as well in commercial gyms, because a lot of people that train for strength are in private strength specific gyms. But if you are strength training and you're lifting really heavy and you're doing 5x5s or whatever it is, you are supposed to rest for long periods of time. And if you are resting for 5 to 10 minutes between sets because you're going max effort on a deadlift or something 5 times, rather than twiddling your thumbs going on your phone, is fine. So sometimes I see people with 180 kilos on the bar butchering themselves in a set and then on their phone, and you don't really mind that. But then for everybody else who's waiting on the squat rack and they see this young lad or young one on their phone for ages is a completely different story. But then on the other side of things, a lot of people go on their phones and it impacts their session massively because, as you said, they're resting too long. They're in the gym for an hour. 30 minutes of that time is spent on their phone when they would have been well able to push themselves harder and train harder in the hour. And as well, it's just extremely annoying for other people in the gym. You want to go on the leg extension and you see some young lad on his phone for 5 minutes and you're waiting to do the leg extension. It's infuriating. I know as a trainer, when I'm with my clients, I have a plan I want to do, and sometimes I have to go off of that plan because people are dossing in the gym.
I think also you're saying about like weightlifters, heavy lifting, maybe they need to take 5 minutes to rest. Maybe it's a good opportunity to exercise your brain and do nothing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, or hype yourself up for your next set. Sometimes you see people with headphones, head banging, just like getting ready to absolutely smash the next set. Maybe unless you are a strength trainer and you're doing ridiculously heavy weights and you're going to the gym for long periods of time and hitting your volume through a stretched period of time, I would recommend leaving your phone in the car. You'll have a better relationship with the gym, you'll have a better workout, and you'll be way more productive with your time.
Unless you're on Team 7.
Unless you're on Team 7 and you need to follow a program.
I treat every set like it's a performance. So if you were going to perform, say, in your work and you're going to a meeting, or you're going to perform live on stage, you're going to do a song, how nervous you would be before that, or you're going to perform whatever you're going to do. Would you go onto Instagram and scroll for 5 minutes, seconds before you're about to perform?
Yeah,
no, you wouldn't.
I completely agree. It's a distraction from what you're going to do. And if you put 2 people in a room beside each other and looked at their physiques and they both trained for 2 years, they both done the same amount of reps, the same amount of sets, the same workout split, but one person hit every single set with full intensity, great tempo, great form, progressed in their weight, didn't go through the motions, it would look like that person has trained for 3-4 years longer than the other one, because they didn't just tick the boxes, they absolutely smashed every set. And as you said, each set is a performance. You attack that set with as much ferocity, what's the word?
Ferociousness.
Yeah, as possible, and you will get better results. Get a bang for your buck. A buck for your bang?
Bang for your buck.
Bang for your buck. With every set and every rep.
Edit.
Yeah. Next one. Dark chocolate is better than milk chocolate. I don't know if he's talking about a health or a taste point of view. If you were buying a bar of chocolate, what would you buy?
I don't think I would buy a bar of chocolate first off, but if I was...
Theoretically speaking.
You know what? I'm actually going to have a funny answer. It's going to be white chocolate. I'll actually buy a Milky Bar.
Rob's the only 30-year-old on the planet that still eats white chocolate. Well, they're the worst of the 3 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love dark chocolate just because when I done the bodybuilding prep, it was my sweet treat in the evening, and I always was left wanting more because I got 20 grams of it, which is absolutely nothing. And it was 90% dark chocolate, so it was bitter and so sharp. So then when I went back to milk chocolate, it was too heavy and creamy. So somewhere in the middle now, if I was buying a bar of chocolate, it would definitely be like a 70%. But also dark chocolate is good for you, milk chocolate is not.
My last memory of dark chocolate was I had like a dark chocolate brownie, and it was from Amsterdam.
Okay, I can already see where this is going.
I'm just disgusted by the whole experience. Really.
Okay, fair. So it's not the dark chocolate. Okay, fair. Yeah, but dark chocolate is, how do you say, cacao?
Cacao, yeah.
is that it is actually extremely good for you, and dark chocolate is full of it. It helps with blood flow, it relaxes your blood vessels and stuff, so it is a lot of health benefits. Dark chocolate has less sugar, less fat, so having some dark chocolate in the evening would be extremely beneficial to your health. Obviously, having an excess is too much sugar, too much calories, but from a health point of view, dark chocolate is miles ahead. But I agree with the unpopular opinion of very few people would buy a bar of dark chocolate over milk chocolate. This is a very unpopular opinion. Money can buy you happiness.
Money can buy a lot of things that can make you happy, but I don't think it can directly buy happiness.
Is that not what it is, though?
Well, money can also buy you troubles.
But having no money can buy you troubles. Having no money can cause you to be extremely unhappy because of the troubles that come with having no money.
But I'm sure there are very happy, unwealthy people.
Right, define unwealthy. Are we
no money?
No money. So are you talking no money as sitting on the side of the street with a cup? Or do you mean no money from the middle class people, as in like I have a car in my drive, it gets me from A to B, but it might not be a Range Rover. I have a house over my head, it might not be as big as I want it, but I am extremely happy with my family and kids? Or are we talking no money as in gives a euro for a hostel?
I'm talking about, so imagine, and now this is going to get morbid, you're on your deathbed.
Okay.
Are you going to look back on your life and go, I had enough money, that was great, what a ride, I had enough money, I got enough money? Or are you going to look back and go, I fell in love, I got to go to, whatever concert once in my life, I made loads of friends, I built an app, Team 7,
Which is going to give us loads of money.
but will you be like, damn, I didn't make enough money?
Yeah, of course. But how many memories on your deathbed, how many memories are you going to have that were created by having money? How many holidays spent with your kids? How many meals out with your... I'm probably an aggressive believer of money can buy you happiness, and having no money can cause you a lot of unhappiness, which I agree with the member that put in. I lean very strongly towards my opinion, would be very strong, because I touched on the last podcast about the recovery centre and the failed business. So I don't know if it was just a periodic emotion, but I've had no money and I've had money, and I was a lot happier when I had money.
Yeah, I mean, definitely money is definitely part of our culture, our life, our, society. So to fit in within that mold, you have to have money.
Me and my girlfriend Neve were speaking about this, and I thought it was funny because I was saying, like, towards your counter argument that money can't buy you happiness, say. I was saying Kerry. So we go to Kerry every year. Me and my girlfriend's family go to Kerry every year, and it's my favourite holiday by far. And it costs us nothing but the petrol in the car to get down. We have home cooked meals from her mum and dad when we're there. We surf on the beach. We have barbecues. We do all of these lovely things, and it is honestly my favourite holiday of the year by far. I look forward to it every single year. And I was explaining to Neve how money can't buy you happiness. Like, my favourite holiday doesn't cost us anything. It's beautiful, beautiful settings, all of this. And she was like, but my parents pay for the house. my parents pay for the food they cook. So money bought that experience. It just wasn't my money.
Yeah, but I mean that can be said for everything, because so there's a certain standard of, that's like saying food can't buy happiness. Well, food keeps you alive, or water can't buy. Like, you need a bare minimum of water and food and money and exercise to live.
Yes. So we're talking about the above,
next level.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So being filthy rich, supposed to
having 100 grand.
And being content with your family and your life, and it's not having a yacht parked up in a pier somewhere.
I reckon the amount of work it takes to make 1 million a year and 100,000 a year versus the happiness you get between the two would not be proportional. I think the amount of work you do for 100 grand a year, you'd feel satisfied at the end of the year. But the amount of work you'd have to put in to make 1 million a year, I don't think you'd be as happy with the outcome as you would be with 100. Even though you have more money, I think you had to work so much harder to get that. And the rewards are like, oh, so I can go on a nicer airplane.
Okay, so the counter argument would be you clearly want to be a millionaire because you work every single minute of the day.
I would work for free. That's the reality. So I work.
You enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
So it is an unpopular opinion because most people would say money can't buy you happiness. And I would agree, if you have a healthy life, if you are comfortable with a healthy lifestyle of spending time with your family and your friends and stuff and don't have to do that extra work for the extra money, you would be more happy, and then money can't buy you happiness. Well, that was the last unpopular opinion. So that's where we will close this episode. Moving forward with the podcast, we do plan on getting a couple of guests in and stuff. We'll probably just keep with me and Rob for a while, keep us in the loop with where we're going. We'll put headings on each podcast, market each podcast well, so you know what you're going to be listening to. I think we're going to get my brother on in a couple of weeks as well, which I touched in the last episode about our competitive nature. And if you want to hear an argument for an hour, you'll have to tune into that episode.
He's doing really good in his training.
We actually put up a member spotlight today because he was always into his. So we're not closing the podcast.
I just wanted to say that before we
is. But just touching on it, he's smashing his training at the minute, and it was actually a worrying. I was nearly going to text Rob, say, will you go onto the back end and just delete Martin off Team 7? Because we done a conditioning session there the other day, and usually why I love doing conditioning sessions with my brother is because we're competitive, and I absolutely smash him every single time. I'm waiting around 10 minutes for him and he's lying on the floor and stuff, but he's been sticking to the hybrid training plan religiously for the last while, and the whole conditioning session he had a smile on his face and he was at my heels, and I was like looking over at his rowing machine and his spin bike, and he was getting closer and closer to me as the rounds went on. I was like, oh God, I nearly rather boot him off Team 7 than him beat me at that. But yeah, he's doing really well at his training, and we'll probably get him on soon. It'll be a bit of crack, and there's plenty more to come for Team 7 and the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks guys, and look forward to the next episode.